I've attended more colleges than anyone. I was the most unsuccessfully educated person in history. I went to UCLA, I went to UC Berkeley, I went to UC San Diego, I've gone to Fresno State, San Diego State. I'm just skimming the surface. And I was a double major everywhere in math and phys ed. And I kept thinking that I was going to find somewhere academic fitness that actually concerned itself with human performance in the fundamental physical units for which physicists estimate and analyze and discuss meaningfully all performance: force, distance, and time. Force, distance, and time. There are only 5 independent measurable entities in all of the universe and all of science. And 5, and their force, distance, and time are 3 of them. I believe Boltzmann constant's one. I don't know the other 2 because they don't deal with movement. I'm that kind of guy. But they deal with relativity and electricity and magnetism and that kind of shit. But everything else is derivative from them. Force, distance, and time. Velocity is derived from that. Acceleration, derived from that. Kinetic energy, derived from that. Momentum, derived from that. You got it? I mean, it's force, distance, and time. You want to talk about the performance of a Humvee, a rocket ship, a rock you throw, putting man on the moon, if galaxies, stars, you know, if it moves, it is discussed in force, distance, and time. All of a sudden we get to human performance and we start looking at things like the Krebs fucking citric acid cycle. And I'm telling you, it isn't relevant. No one has learned anything from Krebs that caused them to train differently. Nothing, no one ever. And if you think so, you've either been lucky or you're fooling yourself or lying. I mean, those are your options. Force, distance, and time. What we want to do is develop not an exercise science per se, but a technology of advancing human performance. Very different thing. It is entirely teleological. That is, it has an end state, a goal in mind. We're not trying to advance understanding. We're not trying to do any of that. I'm trying to make people go more powerfully across broad time and modal domains. That's what we're trying to do. What's interesting is that I only know of the only place where human performance is treated in this fundamental physical sense, where there's actually a technology of human performance, is splintered across 1,000 different sports. Football coach knows how to get the ball into the end zone. A basketball coach knows how to get the ball into the hoop. And he doesn't do so with theory. He doesn't do so with elaborate scientific discussions. It's not full of obfuscation. In fact, you don't have to say a fucking thing. And a coach that has a season of 6 wins and 6 losses isn't as good as one that has 9 and 3, isn't as good as 10 and 2, isn't as good as 11 and 1, and isn't as good as a guy that's got 12 and 0. That's just how that is. Human performance should be the same way, the exact same way. And crazy thing is that it's not. And so what I bring, if I've brought anything to this academically, is that I want to see this technology of human performance develop. I want to go from training methodology to a force, distance, and time. Work capacity across broad time and modal domains. And what we're looking at, in essence, is I say that human performance is being studied really empirically only as splintered across 1,000 different sports. What I'd like to do is look at the union of all, and the intersection of all those different adaptations. And when we can show, and I think we're leading the world in that, when we're showing that we can do that we can increase work capacity across broad time and modal domains, we're really taking it to the competition, to the rest of the industry, to the whole world. This is great. You look at functionality and intensity. So we have, you remember all that you saw today, all these characteristics. Have we done this yet? I don't want to step on toes. Yeah. You look at functionality, and the Marine general that banned us, he says, no CrossFit, but you can do functional movements. Look, we're the only functional fitness program in the world. Now, how can I make such a statement? Well, because first of all, what does it mean to call yourself a functional program if you have not defined functionality? And here's what I know: the people that, like the Swiss ball folks and the rubber band people and the Pilates people, they speak functionality, but they have not defined it. And we have. I can give you characteristics. I can say it's core to extremity. I can say that these things are built into your DNA, that they are come in this wave of contraction from core to extremity as we speak about the dynamics. I can say they're essential. I can say they're safe. I can give you all these characteristics, and then at some point we stumble across they're efficient and effective. Now that can be mathematically defined. The efficiency and the efficacy can now be talked about in terms of force, distance, and time. The functional movements are singularly unique as a category of movements and their ability to move large loads, long distance, and quickly. And now you got definition. And so I got this general saying no CrossFit, just functional movement. Well, fuck, we're the only people that define functional movement, and here it is. There are movements that can move large loads, long distance, and quickly. Okay, so they can't do CrossFit, and what does that mean? Does that mean no thrusters? So you can just do functional movement. Let's look at it on the flip side. No CrossFit, but you can do thrusters, you can do cleans, you can do dips, you can do muscle ups, you can run, you can punch, jump, run, throw, dive, and well, how about the intensity? And can you mix it up a little? I mean, he doesn't even know what he's banned. Doesn't even know what he's banned, sir.